To function in everyday society, the human brain requires a baseline assumption of safety. We need a sanctuary, a place where we can turn off the lights, drop our guard, and shut out the rest of the world. We place our trust in the physical barriers of our environment, the heavy wooden doors, the quiet streets, the isolation of nature. We assume these barriers keep random human malice at bay. The most intense psychological fear happens the exact moment that trusted perimeter fails. We are going to examine 4 documented cases where individuals believed they were entirely safe, only to discover a predator had already bypassed their boundaries. The worst monsters are entirely human, waiting for an opportunity to step inside. Our first environment is built on intimate trust, staying overnight at an old friend's house. After catching up over several drinks, the visiting friend was heavily intoxicated and exhausted. He relied completely on his host's home security as he stumbled into the spare bedroom and passed out. Sometime in the middle of the night, he woke up. In the far corner of the room, hanging on the closet door, was what looked like a long black trench coat. But as his eyes adjusted to the dark, the shape felt wrong. It had broad shoulders. It hung like a human silhouette staring back at him. He forced himself back to sleep. When dawn crept through the blinds, he woke up again, and the corner was completely empty. He rushed to his host, panicking. His friend confirmed he didn't own a trench coat. He didn't even keep a coat rack in that spare room. A deadbolt keeps threats on the outside. It offers zero protection when a predator has already infiltrated the house before you ever close your eyes. Sometimes we actively seek isolation to feel safe. A family driving through Sweden couldn't find an open campsite, so they parked near a remote nature reserve, hoping for a quiet night deep in the woods. They slept inside thin nylon tents. Their only physical barrier against the pitch-black forest outside was a zipper. Around midnight, the 2 teenage daughters heard the heavy, metallic scrape of a shovel hitting gravel. A car trunk slammed shut. Minutes later, a man's blood-curdling scream echoed through the trees, followed by stealthy footsteps circling their tent and the sound of heavy breathing right outside the canvas. They survived until dawn, but researching the area the next day revealed the terrifying context. They had camped inside an active criminal territory. A local gang operated out of that specific beach, where 2 men had recently vanished and another had been stabbed to death. Escaping the crowds means escaping the safety net. Being miles away from society guarantees that when a violent threat arrives, you are completely on your own. The childhood home is supposed to be the ultimate fortress. It is guarded by parents and secured by predictable daily routines. Late at night, an 8-year-old and his 6-year-old brother woke up to the sound of their mother's voice. She was downstairs, whispering to them in the dark. The younger brother unlocked their bedroom door and peeked into the stairwell. Standing clear as day at the bottom of the steps was the silhouette of a strange woman. She looked up and whispered, "Hi, sweetie, come down." The boys locked the door and screamed, waking their parents, who were fast asleep in their own room. The intruder had bypassed the physical security of the house, but more disturbingly, she had somehow learned the children's real names. The predator didn't need to break down a door. She weaponized psychological mimicry, using a gentle, maternal tone to lure her prey directly out of safety. Our final environment is the quiet, well-lit suburban neighborhood. It feels inherently safe because the routes are routine and neighbors are close by. A 16-year-old girl was walking home late at night when she realized a middle-aged man in a hoodie was following her. He kept a steady distance, smiling and asking casual questions about the weather, maintaining a friendly, conversational facade. Then he demonstrated his local knowledge. He told her he wasn't going to hurt her and asked if she lived by the nearby elementary school. When she screamed at him to leave her alone, his smile vanished. He cursed at her and sprinted after her in the dark. She managed to run to safety, and a friend drove her the rest of the way home. But the stalker tracked her. Later that night, they heard the backyard gate open. Footsteps circled the house, and from the pitch-black yard below, the man's voice called up to her second-story window, "I see you up there." A predator views a quiet suburb exactly the opposite way a resident does. The predictable streets and silent houses create a convenient hunting ground wrapped in a false sense of security. The terrifying reality connecting all 4 of these survivors is absolute anonymity. None of them ever discovered the identity of their intruders, nor what those intruders actually planned to do. The human brain is built to process and overcome clear obstacles. When a threat remains entirely unresolved, the psychological stress cannot drop back to zero. It sustains indefinitely. In every single case, the moment the intruder faced resistance, a locked door, a waking host, or a screaming child, they quietly retreated. They simply faded back into normal, everyday society. Real safety is impossible to passively buy. You cannot rely blindly on the locks on your doors or the quiet of your neighborhood. True security requires accepting that the perimeter around you is fragile and maintaining a constant, healthy vigilance.